Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We formally start this event. Can we please have some silence for the recitation of the Holy Quran and the national anthem? Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds.
الرحمن الرحيم.
The Beneficent, the Merciful.
مالك يوم الدين.
Owner of the Day of Judgment.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Thee alone we worship, Thee alone we ask for help.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
Show us the straight path.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
The path of those whom Thou hast favored, not the path of those who earn Thine anger, nor of those who go astray.
Esteemed guests, honorable council members and regional committee members, gentlemen and fellow ladies, a very good afternoon to you. Each year, one day out of the 365 is marked as the International Women's Day, and to which my male counterparts have often asked me, Anam, why does there have to be a Women's Day? There should be a Men's Day as well, maybe April 10th. And to which year after year I have responded, you know what? The 364 days are yours. Just let us have one day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Institute over the years has evolved and continues to work towards bridging the gap between males and females. Last year was one such year. With the formal establishment of the Chartered Accountants Women Committee, we also witnessed the historic event of the election of female members in the council as well as the regional committees. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Hizumina Usmani, council member, ICAP, and chairperson of the Chartered Accountants Women Committee, has the honor of becoming the first female elected at the council. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Hina Usmani for the welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of CA Women Committee, I welcome Honorable Keynote Speaker, Mr. Shehzad Dada, Chief Guest Dr. Silaf Munir, distinguished speakers and panelists, ICAP President Mr. Riaz Rahman, Vice President Mr. Farooq Rahman, our past presidents, and my fellow council members and regional committee members at the CA Women's Day 2018. We are marking these celebrations under the international theme Press for Progress by a series of such events in prominent cities of Pakistan, where our eminent speakers will deliberate on concrete actions needed for gender diversity. I am greatly thankful to all our esteemed sponsors for showing their support to CA Women Pakistan. Whilst we are settling down our festivities of first ever women presence in the Council and in the Southern Regional Committee, our composite team of professionals under the umbrella of CA Women Committee is making headways to achieve its core objectives in its very first year of constitution. Our core objectives are: facilitate conducive working environment for female membership, mentor, encourage and develop young talent, advocate for career advancement, develop leadership skills and take competencies development initiatives. Establish effective database and promote women members to be placed on boards of public sector entities and for greater representation in leadership positions. Provide a networking platform to seek advice on a variety of issues including career, business and professional challenges. And to celebrate excellence through CA Women Awards for qualified and aspiring women CAs. We face many challenges to accomplish our goals. These include attracting fresh females in an environment where still our profession is not very popular, like medicine and engineering fields, coupled with fear of hardships associated with extensive professional training and concurrent examinations. Creating feasible employment opportunities for more than 20% female members who are unemployed or have taken career breaks. Work from home, flexible working hours, daycare centers at workplaces are some of the solutions where concentrated efforts are required to achieve desired outcome. Bringing back around 10% inactive female members already in the workforce to active stream. Our global recognition in all prominent countries of the world along with CA Women brand significance is the possible solution. CA Women Committee has taken concentrated actions as follows. Reaching out to female students at prominent universities and educational institutions, collaborating with women-friendly institutions for flexible work opportunities, proposing changes in international standards on quality control to adapt gender-insensitive issues for mandatory compliances, holding events like Leadership Summit and Women's Day to signify and highlight CA women talent in all professional fields. Regularly meeting fresh qualified females to establish networking with senior models for career guidance and selecting future pathways. Developing women speakers through participation in Toastmasters Club and creating opportunities for young, energetic female professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Economic Forum statistics put Pakistan at rock bottom in terms of gender diversity. Many concrete steps are being taken by the government of Pakistan to reduce this gap at the workplace. One such step is mandatory inclusion of a female director on the boards of all public sector entities. We highly appreciate this change, which will increase participation of professional females at leadership positions. To provide due advantage to our senior female members, the CA Women Committee has taken the initiative and is compiling first of its kind a database of prospective female directors to highlight the competence and skill set of our female members. This will provide visibility to our hidden talent, which was not showcased earlier due to gender imbalances in leadership positions. Our actions are not limited to Pakistan. And in order to benefit from our regional countries' experiences and women representation in CA profession, we have proposed establishment of CA Women Committee at South Asian Federation of Accountants in their recent board meeting and awaiting formal constitution for achieving combined goals and objectives. Making meaningful existence is mainly driven by prominent social media presence. Realizing its importance, very soon CA Women Pakistan will market its remarkable presence in social media for ultimate achievement of its core objectives. Our members and students are valuable for us, and we are working on many initiatives for the visibility, opportunity, and celebrating the achievements of our female fraternity in the profession. Through a transparent process, we are recognizing excellence in 3 categories. Lifetime Achievement Award for senior members who have completed 25 years of ICAP membership. Women of the Year Award for those members who have outperformed during the year, and Aspiring CA Award for outstanding CA students. We are recognizing the dedication and commitment of female staff at ICAP through a Shining Female Special Award for her longest association with ICAP. The committee highly values our senior female members who pursued CA qualification for more than 25 years. Those were the times when CA was considered a pure male-dominated profession in Pakistan, with a male to female ratio of 200:1. The CA Women Committee is recognizing our valued senior female members and conveying our gratitude by recognition certificates and mementos. In the end, I would urge all females to support each other for professional growth and opportunities, and at the same time looking forward to an all-time support and guidance of our male members, without which we would not be able to achieve our desired objectives. I am greatly thankful to Umair, Director Education, to give due space to Shumaila, who is working day and night to make all CA Women activities successful. I am highly thankful to my dear fellow members, Khurshid Kotwal, Muniza Bhatt, Saira Nasir, and Shumaila, whose untiring efforts in organizing this event and actively participating in CA Women Committee. My gratitude is to all our CA Women Committee members, especially Mr. Asad Ali Shah and Mr. Amir Waheed, for their continued support and guidance. My sincere appreciation to Mr. Usama Waheed Kashif and Kamran and the whole ICAP team for timely and efficiently managing this event. I hope you will enjoy the CA Women's Day 2018 and benefit from the key takeaways of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hina. We hope to have such similar and better events at the Chartered Accountants Women Committee under your leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, males and females to me are like a scale. They balance each other out. It is not a race or a competition between them, but amongst them. We together are working towards a better future for the generations to come. It is because of this effort that one gender cannot survive without the other. It is only through collaboration and support from each other that we would be able to bring a positive change in the profession as well as the society. One such progressive and supportive person has been our president, Mr. Riaz-e-Rahman. Mr. Rahman, throughout his 4+ years in the council, as well as his tenure in the regional committees, has been extremely vocal and proactive about female representation at the Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President ICAP, Mr. Riaz-e-Rahman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Zilaf Munir, Keynote Speaker, Mr. Shehzad Dada, my fellow council members, members of the Regional Committee, members of the Women's Committee, and valuable panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and Assalamu Alaikum. Well, it gives me immense pleasure to see the CA Women's Committee to be flourishing in a very short span of time. It's only been 1 year they were formed, and such a short span of time they managed to organize Women's Day in all major cities of the country, not only this year, last year as well. And their hallmark event of the year was the International Leadership Summit, which was held in December. And it was a very successful event and widely recognized by the business community. Dear friends, International Women's Day is a day celebrating the social, economical, political, and professional achievements of our female gender. Last year, when I took over the position as a president of ICAP, I asked my wife and my children that how they felt about me accepting this challenging position alongside my leadership role at ENY. They had a lot to say, but two questions from my better half and children always struck me. Will you still be there for us? She asked. And will you give us priority when your daughter is going to be married within 6 to 8 months? So to me, these are very critical questions, and for my entire tenure of this presidency, I have been committed to answering them with a resounding yes, whether that meant leaving early meetings of the IFAC or ICAP or missing my EY events at all for the wedding preparations over the weekend. And most importantly, I have made sure that my fellow partners and my worthy colleagues of the council know that these values are fundamental to all of us. Well, talking about the celebration and the achievements of our female members of ICAP, we have many personalities in the accounting profession in Pakistan. We have been blessed by such personalities. These are real role models for our young generations to come. Amongst them is one of Ms. Huma Pasha, who was the first female member of the institute, and she really paved the way for the younger lot to come into this profession. Ms. Fozia Farooq, she was also one of those ladies, and we have some exceptional personalities who are working in the profession, which is very challenging and demanding. To name few, Ms. Hina Sadiq, Ms. Muniza Bhatt, and Ms. Asra Rauf. They are working in the profession as a partner in Big Four firms, and this is quite an achievement and a very commendable thing. We have many role models working in the industry as well. Few names which come to my mind at this stage is Ms. Shagufta Hassan. She served as a CFO at AKU, and now she is enjoying the Chief Operating Officer position. Then Ms. Anjum Hai, she is the CFO of one of the largest banks in Pakistan, Bank Al-Falah. Ms. Khurshid Kotwal, she served as a CFO of Unilever Pakistan and now running her own consultancy practice. Ms. Roshan Mary, she was working with the United Energy or maybe British Petroleum previously. Now she is the CEO at House of Habib. And I will not hasten to tell you that Ms. Roshan Mary and Khurshid are the personalities from whom I got the refresher classes of the cost and management accounting and taxation 30 years back in this very own building. Well, Ms. Hina Usmani is another legend of the profession, which created a history in contesting the election. She took a very bold initiative, and it made the history of being elected in the history of ICAP. So this shows the trust and the confidence reposed by our membership on the talent and the abilities of our female membership. At ICAP, we promote gender equality in a big way. I think around 40 to 50% of our staff strength belongs to your community. Out of 8 to 10 departmental heads we have, we have 4 females who are leading the department at ICAP. Our Marcom, our legal head, our HR, and our chief internal auditor, they all are females. And we have been focused on retaining the talent of this community. Because if we believe that if we don't retain talented women, there won't be a strong pipeline of women for senior leadership role in the future. However, if we look at the statistics at the micro level, the situation is not encouraging. The total number of our members, female members, are around 600, which is only 8% of the total membership. And when we look at the trainee students who are pursuing their career in the chartered accountancy, are only about 15% of the total population, which is also not very encouraging. Dear friends, no nation can go on the path of prosperity and sustainable economic growth until and unless the female population of this country is included as a mainstream workforce of the society. So let me tell you some statistics globally. Globally, the proportion of female ladies who are pursuing their career in the accountancy is increasing day by day. In the last 5 years, the numbers have increased. Half of the Canadian accountancy professionals belongs to the female community. So 50% of the total accountants are from women. When we look at the analysis of Europe, UK, and USA, this is almost two-thirds. Two-thirds of the total accountants are females in those jurisdictions. According to a recent report by Fortune magazine, accountancy is the second most sought after qualification after pharmacy in the United States of America. Another survey tells us that the Fortune 500 companies with more women representation on their board outperform those which have lesser representation of female directors on their board. So when you look at these researches, there are countless documented data and supported reasons to believe that the strive for gender equality in the workplace is very important. Gender balance team makes business more profitable, more respected, and innovative. Well, Hina Saiba has just talked about the requirement of the Code of Corporate Governance. I will just give you a brief on that. The Women on Boards was an initiative of the South Asian Federation of Exchanges with the aim to influence a higher gender balance on corporate boards, increase women readiness for top leadership and management positions. So for that, they had reviewed the largest corporations of Pakistan who are part of the PSX 100 index. According to their research, it reveals that the women representation on the boards of these companies in Pakistan is quite minimal. It's below 4%. So there are only 35, at the moment there was only 35 female members on the board out of the total around now 900 directors on the board. So I believe because of that bold decision taken by the SCCP with the blessings of the stock exchanges and the institute of course as well, this situation will improve drastically in the near future. The Women's Committee is working on the compilation of female directors directory to project our seasoned senior female chartered accountants. And in the past, ICAP Council has also took a very bold and decision to allow 1 year break during the articleship in order to promote this career amongst the women. However, having said that, lot needs to be done. We are far behind the developed jurisdictions in promoting the empowerment to the women. So we all need to take responsibility for taking targeted actions to create a better working world which is more gender inclusive and equitable. We have to ensure that females get equal opportunities for the education and the employment. And we have to ensure women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making, economic, politics, and public life in the society. So I think I should end my speech here with a note that the International Women's Day, let's commit one thing, being bold for the change. It's up to all of us, men and women both, to take action now. Because in the end, I believe that achieving real gender equality has to be a finish line which we need to cross together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Riyasa. I'm extremely pleased and honored that Riyasa and I, we just don't share the same surname, but the thoughts and as well as the issues that we have regarding the Institute. Thank you very much, President ICAP. Indira Nooyi, CEO Pepsi, once said, and I quote, "Leadership is hard to define, and good leadership is even harder. But if you can get people to follow you to the ends of the earth, you are a great leader." Our next speaker appears to be one such leader. Having a banking career across the globe, Mr. Shehzad Dada is currently the CEO and member of the Board of Directors of the Standard Chartered Bank. A seasoned banker, Mr. Dada has been the CEO and MD of Barclays Pakistan, and he has also been the Chief Country Officer of Deutsche Bank Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Shehzad Dada. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm also delighted to see men in the room, so that's good. Though I think we need to have some balance here also. Men need to come a bit. But listen, I'm here. A lot of things I'm going to say is something that you've heard. So I'm not going to try to profess here that when we leave this room, but my hope is before we leave, and hopefully with the two panel discussions with some very esteemed professionals, we will at least have some thoughts to ponder over when we go back to work tomorrow. But before I do that, on a lighter note, I always thought accountants were very good at numbers. But since Women's Day was on March 8th, and we're celebrating on 28th, I'm encouraged. Just keep that level of focus when you do my accounts and audit my accounts. So that's good to know. But so with that, let me just share with you why am I here. I mean, this is a topic that's very near and dear to me. Honestly, any moment, any opportunity I get to talk about this topic, I take it. Frankly, we have lots of things going on at the bank right now, but this was something I wouldn't miss. It's partly because of my upbringing. I'm the only son. I have 3 sisters. I really, really respect and valued my mother. I have three khalas, 7 puppies. All my 3 sisters have had 3 nieces only, no boys. So I've been surrounded by women, and I'm delighted. Now I have 2 boys, but the apple of my heart, is my daughter, who's an 8-year-old girl, and I'll bring her back into my discussion as we talk about values and what we need to do. So with that, I'm really delighted. I want to call out all the women here, first of all. So well done, guys. I'm not going to really get into a lot of big speeches. I'm really honored that ICAP has decided to call me here to talk about it. This gender diversity we're talking about, and it's Women's Day, so I'll leave it at that. But for me, it's diversity and inclusion. I think it's diversity and inclusion, diversity of gender, diversity of religion, diversity of race, color, less so in our country, but more so having worked in America for over 20 years. I've seen it happen in front of my eyes, and I can talk a little bit about that offline. But clearly, it's about differently abled people, it's about age, and I think as a nation, we have a lot to learn from the West on this topic. So I think we can talk a little bit about it. But the encouraging thing is we are breaking the barriers. We are really, if I look at it, and if I look at some of the success stories, whether it's in the field of, in every facet of life, I think what we have seen is countless women have risen to the top, broken the class barrier, and I think we should cherish them and we should learn from them. In terms of World Economic Forum, global gender gap, this was, and my topic today is a very tall one. I don't know who came up with that topic, but I was handed this over, but I thought, okay, let me play with this. And it's Women in a Challenging World of World Planning, 50-50 by 2030. This is, by the way, UN topic. At this step, so it's getting 50-50 gender equality in 2030. Frankly, I'll stand here and I'll be professing. I think that's a very, very tall order. But it's not impossible, but it's a very tall order. But let's look at some facts and then talk about it. I think what happened was at the World Economic Forum in 2017, the global gender gap was a report was done. And in that it was that over 200 years, the telling was that gender parity is over 200 years away in order to do it. And we need to start somewhere. And hence the press for progress. And that's the topic that I'm going to really focus on. First, the three things I'm going to really touch upon is why is gender parity so important? Riyaz touched upon that, so I think that we'll talk a little bit about it. What are some of the challenges facing us, and what should we do? And I think the last part is what I hope we spend more time on. And I promise I won't be too long. But let me just, and again, this has been said, so I'm not going to dwell on it. But McKinsey study gets quoted all the time. And there, the point is that if we had gender equality, we could add $28 trillion to the economy, to the global world economy, almost 25% of the total GDP. To be exact, 26%. Now that's a big, big number that we're missing out as a global economy, and it's no strange that it's also impacting Pakistan. Just imagine that. If you just look at the study a bit more and look at the South Asian economies can add an incremental 11% of projected growth into their country by 2025 if more women are included in the workforce. Harvard study has the same thing. Employees at more diverse companies have 45% more likely to report their market share grow compared to one that doesn't have that. 70% more likely to report that their firm has captured new markets. So again, these are hard data, and you guys are numbers people. I don't need to convince you that this is not a nice to have. This is not check the box kind of a thing. It's good for you. It's good for the organization. And as professionals, as stakeholders, I think it's our duty. So I think it's something that we all should take a pride in doing. It's not something that we are doing. In developing country, the number is very low. It's less than 25%. As I'm setting the stage, women spend 2.5 times more time and effort than men for any unpaid care, work, or household responsibility. And that's true. Look around. I mean, frankly, I don't have to, and I'm not talking about this with any pride, but I don't have to worry about putting my kids to sleep, my 8-year-old daughter or my boys, or food on the table, or a woman who's working has a lot of multiple responsibility, which we take for granted. Having said that, they're spending 2.5 times more on work, unpaid care work, but they get paid a tenth of what global income. Is that fair? Is that sustainable? Is that something that's going to last? No. Anything that's unfair. And obviously, if you look at, while accounting, they account for 2/3 of the world, 2/3 of the global working hours, not professional hours, working hours. So, I think with all these facts, let's come a bit closer to Pakistan, what's happening. And again, these are all facts you all know, so I'm just going to, but I just want to highlight. We have 49% different census, we have 51%, 49%, we have women in the workforce. And they only make up 20% of the labor force. What's worse is compare this to China, where 64% of the women 15 years or older are economically active. I know China is different, but that's something to reflect upon when we are talking about economic growth and we want to grow at 7, 8, 10%. How is that going to be possible? Is half of your populations is not only a quarter of them are in the workforce. That's not going to happen. We need to bring them in. On average, women in Pakistan are paid 40% less than an average male counterpart. In managerial position, the difference is 32%. In professional, it's 36%. Despite that, if you look at it, 50-50% split in universities. Yet women only occupy 7% of private jobs. So clearly something is missing. We have, and if I look at it just from our recruiting data, most of the women are topping business schools, medical schools, they're gold medalists, they're doing fantastically well, but somewhere along the way, we have this deep dive that they don't join the workforce. And it's no coincidence, right? So we need to really press forward and call to action something, and I'm glad that we're having these discussions, these panel discussions that are really talking about this, because I think this is what we need to be honest about. And again, accepting the fact that a woman has a far more greater responsibility than men. I think we are kidding ourselves if we think it's not there. Now, just putting the elephant in the room, I think there is an unconscious bias. And we've talked about it. It's what I call the curse of the unconscious bias. I think in the male surroundings that they have, if there is a woman who's, especially if she's a married woman with children, the first conscience is, "Chhore saab, ye to abhi jaldi chali jayegi." She really committed to this job. Ye rahegi ki nahi, kisko pata hai? Who knows what happens? And countless things. Inke to ye masle hain, wo masle hain. And this is where these things happen. So for me as a CEO, it's really not about changing policies and putting processes in place. And I'm sure many of the other esteemed CEOs can talk about this. It's really about how do we change this mindset, this unconscious bias that people have, where they automatically assume something that is negative, yet not realizing. And I can tell you, I'm very blessed to have women in my management team. And I tell you, the diversity and the different perspectives they bring has a tremendous positive upside in my organization. Before even the code of corporate governance came, we were the first corporate, forget about a bank, to have a woman on our board. And inshallah, we'll have many more. And I think the perspective, the dimension they bring is just insurmountable. So with all this Harvard study and McKinsey study or Wharton study, I think the reality is that this is not a nice to have, it's a must to have. So personally, I think we need to really answer the question, how do we get this hindrance out so that a company can grow at its natural pace? And clearly not having this 50% of the population participating in a meaningful way. In some places they've done fantastically well, and we have success stories. We've talked about many of this already, but I think we need to really think about it. Structural barriers and how do we do the hindrance to progress? So here is what I can just share with you on our journey. To begin with, let's think about the social infrastructure. And this is going to be a journey, it's not a destination. I think anybody thinks that this is going to happen overnight or it will happen by 2020, I think it's kidding themselves. But I think we really need to start asking the real thick, deep questions. That is there social infrastructure overhaul necessary? Social practices and norms that we talk about can be changed so that girls can be conditioned, are not conditioned at a very young age to be treated as less, have less, and dream smaller than boys. And I think this happens in every household, right? नहीं यार तुम इधर ही रहना, मेरा बेटा जाएगा बाहर यूनिवर्सिटी पढ़ने, अमेरिका हो जाएगा. This happens. It happens in a lot of educated class. Forget about the lower income or happen in an illiterate family. I know so many people who are literate, who are very confident. You will meet them, you'll say, oh wow. But when you really go inside, that's the kind of thinking. Coupled with this concrete steps to protect young girls from getting married early or from harmful practices. We have heard of some of those heinous crimes that were committed, few that came into the media a few months ago. Are we providing incentives to recruit and retain female talents? Expanded maternity leave is something that was talked about. Do we have those paternity leaves? Well-equipped daycares. I think these are some structural things that we really need to think about when we're trying to condition ourselves to bring women into the workforce. And I'm sad to say not everybody is doing that. So we need to create that awareness. Creating opportunities, the right education with relevant skill sets, making sure We had some examples of people, you mentioned the AKU, where CFO became a CEO, and obviously many who have become CEOs. But I think we have this myopic of how to groom her and career development. Same salaries for work, equal value. Average woman earns, as I said, 23% less than a man. Why? If they're as qualified, if they've done exactly the same, why is that? Installing and supporting a culture of entrepreneurship. What kind of we are doing? We had a very recent success story of Syed Kahani, who got $500,000 in Series A funding for SheOps. It's a Facebook business partner. So there are good stories happening, but these are some structural things that we really need to think about, and as professionals and as ICAP also, which is obviously touching all the corporate world, these questions need to be answered. There's so much to do. The great thing is awareness has started, right? And just quoting Sheryl Sandberg, the founder of Lean In and COO of Facebook, what she said, it really sits in my heart. We cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware of, we cannot help but change. So change is something that we really need to embark on and really work on. I'll just, before I leave you, as I said, I just wanted to set the stage, tell you a little about what we at Standard Chartered have done. And again, it's a journey. By no means I'm standing here and priding myself that we have done it right. But there are certain things we did and certain things that have worked, and my hope is we can be of assistance to some of you and make some of you think. Standard Chartered globally has been a big supporter of advancing women in the workplace. We were named in 2017 Bloomberg Financial Services Gender Equality Index for the second year. We have 20 gender-related employee networks throughout the bank. I've been blessed to be on the Global D&I Council. The idea of that D&I Council is how do we bring more gender equality and how do we ensure that we have certain goals that we've set publicly that we want to attain, which include 30% of our banded staff by 2020 should be females. Now this number is much lower right now. Half of our workforce is women right now. In Pakistan, unfortunately, that's not the case. We have a strong representation in our management team. My CEO, Bill Winters, 6 out of his 13 direct reports are female. So we are walking the walk and doing it. We have also just committed to the Fair Pay Charter. So this is globally what we are doing. So it's not just talking here, standing here and telling you this is nice to do, but this is what we are doing. So really creating that conducive environment. This diversity and inclusion council that I talked about was formed with the understanding that how can we show more commitment. Our diversity ratio at present, for example, so just coming closer to home, our diversity ratio, and I'm proud to say, and I think it's still the number is the highest in all corporate, listed corporate, or however you want to define it, we are at 26% diversity ratio. And that number, we want to take it up. Our board has given us direction. We want to take it up to 30%. Ultimately, as I said, our group is doing it at 50%. So we want to definitely do it. Which this 26% is almost a 5%, it was around 20% 3 years ago. So we have made some good things. Our attrition on female talent has gone down by 8%. And this has not been by a coincidence. This is a testament of management's commitment and effectiveness in targeted interventions. And unfortunately, given the gap that we have, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to take targeted interventions. If we don't do it, we are never going to achieve that global target that we have. What we did, a few things that I want to just touch upon, not brag about. We had 100% daycare reimbursement. And the idea was, at that time, we don't have a daycare center, though right now we are forming a daycare center. The research that we did with our female staff, because we are spread all over Karachi and spread all over the country, everybody wanted to have a daycare center near their house. So they preferred that rather than having a daycare center in a central location, we should just reimburse that. But that thought has changed. And now everybody wants, with a very large millennial and young female talent in our workforce, we're seeing that they would rather have their children closer to them where they're working. So we're putting up a daycare center. We revised the maternity leave and the paternity leave. We refreshed it 20 weeks or 5 months, fully paid. We also give a paternity leave for male friends, and I see a lot of them are eligible to become fraternity leave eligibility. We have increased staff engagement, whether it's through mentoring, wellness sessions, and many more engagement that we do throughout the year. We have flexi work hours. This has worked very well, whether it's part-time working, whether it's flexi place, flexi working, and I'll leave you with that thought. We have a diversity council. We have focus on female hiring. 32% of all our hiring in 2017 was female. We also have combined this with our community goals, where we have done some targeted intervention, and a program that I'm very proud of and I'm personally chair it is GOAL, which is to empower and equip adolescent girls with confidence, knowledge and skill-based training so that they become the future economic leaders in their families, in their communities and society. And mashallah, we have touched 2,500 girls, and we picked Liari, and we picked 7 schools in Liari. Nobody wanted to go to Liari, but we picked that area because we felt that there was clearly a disproportionate share of not getting approached there. And mashallah, looking back, this program is in its 2nd year, and it's been a fantastic way of doing it. It's an open architecture. My team can share that with you. You can do it in your corporation. I encourage ICAP to become part of that journey. What we do is we use all the talented people in our bank to do educational training. We have 5 modules, and we have seen a remarkable improvement in the confidence and the ability of these young girls who are now becoming future leaders, and then obviously touching them through vocational training and bringing them into the workforce. And it's something that we've tried in 15 to 18 other countries all over the world, and it's been very successful. We frequently work with British High Commission in networking and peer learning, which is again something we would be happy to do it with you. We sponsor Women of the World Festival. We do adaptive learning programs. We've done many other things. The reason I'm highlighting this is that we all have a social responsibility to do this. And if we don't do this, we'll be the losers, not the females. They will, inshallah, do very well. But it is the organizations and it's the male domination that will suffer. The examples all I gave are with open architecture, so we can do it. And I'm sure, English Biscuit has, and I'm sure many other esteemed panelists that are going to be here will have such success stories. So we all should have a common database. And again, I would encourage ICAP to be the nexus where everything can be put together and we can share our best practices in this tremendous transformative change that will generate tremendous dividends to the economy. If half the population is denied the opportunity to manifest their full potential, then we lose. The men are the losers, not anybody else. So let's pledge to do everything we can do to overcome this entrenched prejudice, support engagement and activism that's so much required, and promote gender equality and women empowerment. So with that, let me just conclude, and I know I'm standing between this esteemed panel that's going to talk about. I just want to leave you with 3 main questions that I would ask the moderator to bring to the panelists. The first one is, as a corporate, we entered quite late into the game from a perspective of adapting mindsets to appreciate gender parity. What can we do to ensure gender parity becomes the norm, intrinsically embedded in our children's DNA as they interact with each other as one? So this is really early age. This is what I'm teaching Sadia, my 8-year-old girl. Don't be afraid, don't be shy, don't be bold, don't get bullied. I think this is what we need to do. Are we doing this? Are we having those hard conversations? Are we taking it for granted when we go back to work? Beta kaisa tha din, how is everything? Acha, very good, nice and dandy. Chalo, weekend pe baat karenge. Are we really trying to give them? And I'm glad that Riaz Saab is taking out time for the family. The second question, I would say, while this might be a generalization, men are uncomfortable dealing with the issue of women empowerment. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, whenever I bring this up with my team, there is a level of people start fiddling, people start changing the topic. They don't want to talk about it. Chole sir, kuch aur baat karte hain. I mean, that's a very thing. How can we get them on board to drive the more empowerment for women? As after all, men are still the key decision makers. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have seen this in government, in the social sector, in the business sector, and we need to change this. It's changing, but we need to really get them on board. And like I said, I'm encouraged to see a good half a dozen men here, but we need more men in this room. We need more men when we are having these discussions. They should be the change agent, not you. You all know this. You have all felt it. You all have seen it. You all are feeling it. So I think what we need to do is really what, so that should be the question I would be asking them. And what can we see, what have we seen from the flexibility in the workplace is very beneficial. I can speak from our own example, and I think that's required. In fact, male also need it. We have branches. Branches, आपको पता है पाकिस्तानियों की आदत है लेट उठने की और लेट लतीफ होती है. तो सुबह 9 से 12 branches में कोई रश नहीं होता. 12 से 3 एकदम रश बढ़ जाता है, and शाम में रश होता है. तो load balancing. At the same time, our operations department is heavy loaded on the back end. When they come in the morning, there's no load. So we have tried to, flexi work hours where we have tried to balance this out. We are using digital as something that's very important because I think that is, and this is, important. So I think the flexibility in the workplace is very beneficial. How do we inculcate a more flexible working environment for our women talent? Provide relevant resources, digital expertise, and enable and support women to work from home when needed. And here I'll just end on this thing. My own experiences, a woman, and my wife went through the same thing. So she's not a working woman, for full disclosure. I'm encouraging her, but she has. But what happens is, pehla bachcha hota hai, it can be managed. And they mashallah, their parents are young. Both the nana, nani, dadi, dada, they're all young. They're all willing to do it. It's really where we see attrition, and we did a research on it, and that's where we came in with these flexi hours, and I encourage all of you to do it. It's the second child. By the second child, the grandparents are getting older. Unfortunately, in some cases, they've lost their grandparents, and it's at that point where they really need a lot of support. And what as an institution are we doing to provide that support to them? They've also moved up the ladder, and their responsibilities have increased. So I think those are the kinds of discussion and discourse we should have in forums like this to really inculcate a culture and a mindset change. As I said, it's the curse of the unconscious bias that we need to change, and we need to have these discussions. And I really hope that the two panel discussions that are going to have touch upon these topics, because I think it's our loss, it's the country's loss, and it's the nation's loss if we really don't address this problem, because it's only once we address this, the country will prosper. So with that, a very big thank you to all of you to be patient enough to listen to my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shehzad. Mr. Shehzad, can we have you on stage? And before that, can we please invite past President, Mr. Hussain Basrai, to give a token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Mr. Shehzad Dada. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful to our sponsors, Mandi Express, for the baskets that's been given by them. So not just open-hearted, I'm sure the mother of 3 is going to be a happy woman today. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is surprising and ironic that the woman who is considered as the pioneer of female politics, Margaret Thatcher, once said, and I quote, "Any woman who knows the problems of running a household is very close in running a country." In this glitz and glamour of the corporate world, we as humans tend to belittle and forget the stay-at-home moms, who are perhaps working very hard towards shaping the future generation of our country. So ladies and gentlemen, let's have a hand for the working mothers as well as the stay-at-home moms, for it is indeed those who are actually contributing a major part towards our society. With this, we now move towards our panel discussion. The topic for discussion is Press for Change, Press for Progress actually, and Mrs. Munisa Bhatt will be the moderator. Muniza is a partner at KPMG Tasir Hadi, an active member of the Chartered Accountants Women Committee. Please welcome Ms. Muniza Bhatt for our panel. Now introducing our panelists. We first have Ms. Annie Shehzad. She is Director of Studies at the Karachi Grammar School. Annie is a passionate educator and holds an MA in Education from UCL, Bachelor's in Education from KU, and a BE from NAD. Wow, that is 3 degrees, by the way. So ladies and gentlemen, Annie Shehzad as our panelist. Our second panelist, Ms. Shehbano Moiz Ali, is the program producer at Sama TV. In her 8 years of career, she has worked for renowned channels which include Fox and ABC. She enjoys documentary making and blogging. So please welcome Ms. Shehbano Aziz. And now, the next panelist. What do I say about her? She is the unsung hero, I would say. From midnight calls to early morning reminders. Shumaila, can you please update us on this? Shumaila, where are the minutes of the meeting? A qualified chartered accountant by profession and having completed her articles from A.F. Ferguson, Shumaila has been working very hard to have this profession up to the level it has reached. Please put your hands together for Shumaila Halo. Now we're females, we believe in balance. Maybe not the entire balance, but we do have male panelists as well. So let's welcome our male panelist. We have with us Mr. Ateed Riaz. He's the chairman and co-founder of the Citizens Foundation, which is a very well NGO to all. Mr. Ateed is also involved in his family-owned business, Imrose Association, which is involved in the distribution of consumer goods. So please welcome Mr. Ateed Riaz. Our second male panelist and the last, Mr. Aziz Memon. Mr. Memon is the chairman of the King's Group, which encompasses 9 companies and has an annual turnover of USD 100 million. But what makes Mr. Memon actually outstanding is his contribution towards the society. He is a member of the Rotary International Services and National Chair Pakistan Polio. Mr. Memon has been awarded the prestigious Pride of Performance Award by the Honorable President of the Pakistan. So please welcome Mr. Aziz Memon. Thank you. And with this, Muniza, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, ladies, and the very few brave gentlemen who are here with us today to celebrate Women's Day. The theme of the panel discussion is in line with the International Women's Day Press for Progress. And under that slogan, we're going to discuss in the panel regarding women dynamics, working women dynamics, gender inclusion, stereotype challenges, parenting in the digital age, and positive visibility of women. Before I open the floor for the panel discussion, I'd like to quote Benazir Bhutto. This is one of my favorite quotes that she once said. "It is not easy being a woman anywhere. Moreover, for women leaders, the obstacles are greater, the demands are greater, the barriers are greater, and the double standards are greater." Unquote. So with that, I'd like to start. And as they say, ladies first. So Annie, could I start with you then? Okay. So Annie. Annie, you are associated with a very prestigious school and you have like education background and all. So how important do you think it is to counsel young women, young girls, as well as boys regarding gender parity and gender inclusion into the workforce?
So good afternoon to everyone. And like you said, to the majority of the women here and the few men who have come to show us their support, so thank you. Being an educator and an academic, it's not about counseling really, it's about role modeling. So we speak about counseling and what we should do and what we should say and what we should talk about. It's as simple as just role modeling it. So not using our words, but using our actions. And in whatever we do, so the first point of learning is the home, with the grandmother, with the aunts, with the grandfather, the uncles, the father, the mother, the brothers, the sisters. What is happening at home? It should be more than words, it should be actions. And at school, equal opportunity, equity, equality in terms of treating boys and girls the same way, equity in terms of providing them with the same resources. So, and beyond that, the curriculum, both the hidden curriculum and the evident curriculum. So, how are our lessons in, for example, in English, history, geography, how are women portrayed in that? So a lot of times, which thankfully is changing now, the stay-at-home woman is considered to be, you know, the kind of one-up compared to the woman who's out of the home, not just impacting or influencing the lives of the people at home, but lives at large. So all of that, and how women are shown. So for example, if a man drives a car, he becomes a chauffeur. A man cooks, he becomes a chef. A woman is at work, if the woman is confident and sure about what she's doing, she has manly qualities and is less of a female. So what exactly? So those are not words that we should focus on. It's the culture, it's the mindset, it's what we do with our actions. And schools and homes absolutely play a very strong role in that.
Yes, because I always believe that this stereotype starts from a very early age, where they say girls versus boys. So maybe at at the primary level, if we inculcate in our children that it's not us versus them, it's just about all of us being together in it. So, it would help in changing the mindset a lot. Now, since you deal with a lot of parents also, Annie, given your, experience in the school, how do you counsel people regarding parenting in the digital age? If you could shed some light on that, please.
It's time we kind of, it's a wave coming our way. So we have to accept that. We can't stop it because it's like 100-foot wave coming our way. But we can certainly learn ways of actually making that wave work for us. So if our children are going to be on screens for most of the time, by all means have times fixed and all. But that screen time can also be used very effectively. There's a lot of software, educational software, where you can learn by way of games, right from a very young age, as young as 3 years old, right up to college level. So yeah, let's utilize that screen time in better, more impactful ways. For example, digital is not bad. Take a remote area in Balochistan. How many of you would like to go and teach there? What happens there? It's digital learning. So you will have classrooms there, you will have a screen there, you will have teachers who are teaching remotely. So digital is not all bad. And if our children are on their iPads or on their phones, let's make that time useful for them. Reduce it by all means. It cannot go away, but it can certainly be used in a better way.
Okay, thank you. Because being a working mother, this always weighs on my mind. When I'm in office, I'm wondering my child would be on the iPad, he would not be reading his books and all. So, to balance the work life, so this was an important question that we had in mind. Shalbanu, coming to you. You are one of the few female producers of a large channel, of a leading channel in Pakistan. Can you tell us about your personal journey and how you have been so successful?
थैंक यू वेरी मच मनीषा और आपकी इजाज़त से जो है मैं अपना इजहार ख्याल जो है वो उर्दू में करना चाहूँगी। पहले तो जो मैं अपनी आपके सवाल का जवाब दूँ इससे पहले मैं चाहूँगी कि एक मीडियोकर सा एक क्वेश्चन रखना चाहूँगी ऑडियंस के सामने कि मुझे ये बताएंगे कितने लोग ये समझते हैं कि मीडिया जो है वो एक यानी जो स्क्रीन है वो ग्लैमर मांगती है। हाथ उठा के आप लोग बता सकते हैं कि मीडिया ग्लैमर वर्ल्ड है। अगर आप हाथ उठाएंगे तो मुझे थोड़ा सा अंदाज़ा हो जाएगा। तो जो यहाँ पर जो मुझे नज़र आया वो ये है कि मेजॉरिटी वो समझती है कि जो स्क्रीन है वो फेस وہ جو پریزنٹیبل ہو وہ چاہتی ہے، وہ مانگتی ہے. تو یہ بالکل یہ تھینک یو ویری مچ کہ آپ نے مجھے اپارچونیٹی دی کہ میں اس مس پرسیپشن کو بتا سکوں کہ یہ بیسیکلی مس پرسیپشن ہے. کیونکہ جب میں نے یہ فیلڈ جوائن کی 2009 میں میرا بھی کچھ ایسا ہی ماننا تھا، کیونکہ میں جس کمیونٹی سے میں تعلق رکھتی ہوں وہ داؤدی بورہا کمیونٹی ہے، وہ مائنورٹی کے اندر ہے. جب میں نے یہ میڈیا کی فیلڈ جوائن کی تو میری کمیونٹی میں سے کوئی بھی خاتون جو ہے وہ اس شعبے سے وابستہ نہیں تھی. تو میرے لیے تو اس وقت سب سے بڑا یہ چیلنج تھا کہ میں اس فیلڈ میں جا رہی ہوں، اس شعبے سے میں وابستہ ہو رہی ہوں جس کے بارے میں ایک میجر پرسیپشن یہ ہے کہ یہ خواتین کے لیے زیادہ موضوع نہیں ہے اور یہ غیر مناسب ہے. تو اس وقت مجھے جو ایک اپیرنٹ چیلنج کا سامنا تھا وہ یہ کہ اس فیلڈ میں سروائیو کرنے کے ساتھ سیکنڈلی یہ کہ میری فیملی کو کوئی اس طرح سے کرٹیسائز نہ کر سکے، میری کمیونٹی کی طرف سے یہ پریشر نہ آئے کہ آپ نے کس طرح سے یہ فیلڈ چوز کی. سم ہاؤ دی ادر میرا بھی کچھ ایسا ہی پرسیپشن تھا، لیکن میں نے میڈیا کو بائی اینڈ لارج ایک آئس برگ کی طرح پایا کہ جو آپ کو اوپر نظر آ رہا ہے وہ بہت محدود سا ہے، جبکہ یہ ڈیپتھ، اس کی جو ڈیپتھ ہے وہ بہت زیادہ ہے اور وہ آپ کو دکھائی نہیں دے رہی. اور خاص طور پر وہ جو ڈیپتھ ہے وہ لوگ ہیں جو اسکرین کے پیچھے ہوتا ہے. تو جب میں نے آغاز کیا، وہ میں نے ایک ایڈیٹر کے طور پر آغاز کیا تھا اس کا، اور جب میں نے میرا فرسٹ انسٹنس میں آپ کے ساتھ شیئر کروں گی کہ جب میں نے اپنی ایک پہلی اسٹوری لکھی تو اس میں میرے پروڈیوسر نے یہ کہا کہ جی یہ چونکہ آپ کی اسٹوری ہے اس لیے ضروری ہوگا کہ آپ آن اسکرین جائیں اور اس سیگمنٹ کو رن کریں. ایز اے ہوسٹ آپ اس کو یہ سیگمنٹ وہ کریں گی، کنڈکٹ کریں گی. بیفور دیٹ میرے ذہن میں یہ تھا کہ اسکرین بیوٹی، پریزنٹیبل اور ساری چیزیں ہونا نیسیسٹی ہے، ضروری ہے. تو میں تھوڑا سا ریلکٹنٹ بھی تھی اور تھوڑا میرے لیے شاکنگ بھی تھا کہ نظر آنا وہ ایک الگ چیز ہے، لیکن ڈیفارمیشن کے ساتھ وہ تو ایک بالکل ہی ڈفرینٹ چیز ہے. لیکن وہ میرا جو مس کانسیپٹ تھا وہ اس وقت بالکل ختم ہو گیا، کیونکہ یہ جو ہے وہ اس طرح سے تھا کہ نہیں، آپ کی کنٹینٹ میں کتنی پاور ہے اور آپ کتنے زیادہ اسٹرانگ ہو یا سرٹن ہو، وہ زیادہ معنی رکھتی ہے. پھر جو ایک برج کرنا تھا وہ اس چیز کو کہ یہ فیلڈ خواتین کے لیے موضوع نہیں ہے، کیونکہ 24/7 ہے اور یہ بہت رف ہے. آپ نے فیلڈ میں بھی جانا ہے، آپ نے آن ڈیسک بھی کام کرنا ہے، تو آپ پریفر کرتے ہو کہ آپ پیچھے رہو. اور چونکہ میں ایڈیٹر تھی تو میرا ڈیسک ورک تھا. لیکن وہی والی بات، جس طرح سے آئس برگ آپ اسے کہتے ہو، اسی طرح سے آپ بلیو کریں کہ جو نیوز روم ہے، مجھے نہیں پتا کہ آپ لوگوں میں سے کتنے لوگوں نے نیوز روم کبھی وزٹ کیا ہوگا، لیکن نیوز روم بالکل ایک اولمپکس کی فیلڈ ہوتی ہے نا، اولمپکس کا گراؤنڈ ہوتا ہے، ویسا ہے. مطلب وہاں پر آپ کو اتنے سارے گیمز ایک ساتھ ملیں گے کہ اتنے سارے ڈپارٹمنٹس جو ہے ایک ہی نیوز روم کے اندر موجود ہے، اور ہر ڈپارٹمنٹ ایک دوسرے ڈپارٹمنٹ سے بہت کم کہ ہم ایکسٹینشن پہ بات کر رہے ہو، ہم لوگ آواز دے کے کمیونیکیٹ کر رہے ہوتے ہیں. تو بینگ این ایڈیٹر میرے پاس یہ بھی تھا کہ میں اپنی JD کرتی، لائک اپنی جاب ڈسکرپشن مطابق اپنا کام کرتی، 9 to 5 جاب کرتی اور اس کے بعد میں گھر چلی جاتی. لیکن میں نے دیکھا کہ نہیں، میرے پاس چونکہ یہ اولمپک فیلڈ ہے اور میں اسائنمنٹ سے لے کر فیلڈ رپورٹنگ تک، پینل پروڈیوسنگ تک، پروگرام پروڈیوسنگ تک، سارے ڈپارٹمنٹس میری اپروچ میں اور میں اس کو کر سکتی ہوں. تو میں نے اپنے ٹائم میں جب میری جاب ڈسکرپشن پوری ہو جاتی تھی، میں نے خود کو اسٹریچ کیا اور میں نے فیلڈ میں بھی نکلنا شروع کیا اور رپورٹنگ بھی اسٹارٹ کی. دین لائیو پیپرز، دین لائیو آپ کہہ لیں کہ جو آپ کے لائیو ہٹس ہوتی ہیں اس کو بھی کرنا شروع کیا. تو اس سے جو میجر فائدہ جو انکانشیسلی جو مجھے ہوا وہ یہ تھا کہ وہ لوگ، میں اپنے نیوز روم میں ظاہر سی بات ہے بتایا کہ میں انڈسٹری میں شاید واحد تھی اپنی کمیونٹی سے، تو ان لوگوں کو میرے حوالے سے اور میرے لائک ثقافت سے اور ساری چیزوں کو جاننے کا ایک تو بہت قریب سے موقع ملا، اور سیکنڈلی میری کمیونٹی کو وہاں اپروچ کرنے کا بہت موقع ملا کہ جب ایک ایڈیٹر نیوز کی تلاش میں رہتا ہے، ایک اسٹوری کی تلاش میں رہتا ہے کہ یہ بہت اچھی اسٹوری ہے، بہت اچھا اینگل ہے، یہ بہت اچھے فوٹیج ہے، تو جب ان کو پتہ چلا کہ ان کے ایونٹس جو ہے بڑے کلرفل ہوتے ہیں، بہت ڈفرینٹ ٹریڈیشن ہے، تو آپ کیوں نہیں یہ ایونٹس کور کرتی. اور جب میں نے کور کرنا شروع کیا اور ساری چیزیں، تو میری کمیونٹی کو یہ تسلی ہوئی کہ یہ اگر اپنے ٹریڈیشنل اٹائر میں یہ ساری چیزیں کور کر سکتی ہے، لائک ہمارا جو ٹریڈیشنل اٹائر ہے وہ ایک ہم جسے ردا کہتے ہیں، اور اسی میں آپ آن اسکرین بھی آ رہے ہیں, اسی میں آپ شوز بھی کنڈکٹ کر رہے ہیں. نو بڈی از لائک گوئنگ ٹو اسٹاپ یو. حالانکہ یہ سمجھا جاتا ہے کہ میڈیا تو بہت گلیمر ورلڈ ہے اور وہاں پہ تو آپ کو ایک ڈریس کوڈ ہونا چاہیے اور یہ ہونا چاہیے. نہیں, کچھ بھی نہیں, ایسا کچھ بھی نہیں تھا. تو وہ ایک گیپ بریج ہوا. اور سیکنڈلی آپ اب ایسا ہے کہ میری کمیونٹی میں سے کتنی خواتین ایسی ہے جو نہ صرف یہ فیلڈ کو اسٹڈی کر رہی ہے, لائک جرنلزم میں ہے, اور سیکنڈلی اس فیلڈ سے سم ہاؤ دی ادر وابستہ ہے. اور سیکنڈلی میں فرسٹ فیمیل ہیڈ لائن پروڈیوسر تھی اپنے ادارے کی. اسی طرح سے فرسٹ فیمیل رن ڈاؤن پروڈیوسر, کیونکہ رن ڈاؤن ایک ایسا معاملہ کہا جاتا ہے کہ وہ آپ پلین چلا رہے ہوتے ہیں اور کبھی بھی کریش کر سکتے ہیں, اس سے آپ کا اعصاب کا مضبوط ہونا بہت ضروری ہے. تو وہاں پر کوئی خاتون کا اس وقت کانسیپٹ نہیں تھا. اور اب ہمارے ادارے کی صورتحال, سما ٹی وی کی صورتحال یہ ہے کہ وہاں پر کراچی کی پہلی فیمیل بیورو چیف موجود ہے, 3 سے 4 رن ڈاؤن پروڈیوسر فیمیل موجود ہے, ہیڈ لائن پروڈیوسرز موجود ہے. تو یہ جرنی ایک اسٹریچ کرنے سے لے کر سٹارٹ ہوئی. مطلب آپ نے صرف یہ دیکھنا ہے کہ لائک آپ کے پاس کتنا اپارچونیٹی ہے, اور جس میں ادارے کا واقعی بہت بڑا رول ہے. ایک انڈیویجول کے طور پر جہاں ایک انڈیویجول کر سکتا ہے ٹھیک ہے, لیکن ادارے کا بہت بڑا اس میں رول یہ ہے کہ آپ نے الاؤ کیا وہ کرنا, آپ نے ان کو آگے آنے کا, اگر وہ آگے آنا چاہ رہے تھے تو آگے آنے کا موقع بھی دیا.
جی بالکل. اور آپ کی خود اعتمادی آئی تھنک واز دا سیونگ گریس جس کی وجہ سے آپ کڈ سسٹین. اچھا, آپ یہ بتائیں گے کہ آپ کو مردوں نے جو آپ کے ساتھ کام کر رہے تھے کتنا سپورٹ کیا ان اچیونگ یور آبجیکٹیو؟
تو میں یہ کہوں گی اس حوالے سے کہ ان کا تو ظاہر سی بات ہے, کیونکہ ہمارا جو ڈپارٹمنٹ میں یا نیوز روم میں جو ریشو تھا, یہ ریشو ہے ابھی بھی, وہ بہت ہی زیادہ جو ہے وہ خواتین کا اور مردوں کا بہت زیادہ ڈفرینس ہے اس میں. لیکن جو مجھے سکھانے والے ہیں وہ تو وہ سبھی جو ہے وہ مرد ہی ہیں. مطلب انہوں نے ہی سکھایا بھی, آگے بھی پش کیا, بڑھایا بھی اور ہمت بھی دلائی, تو وہ تو مرد ہی تھے. لیکن ایک میں چیز یہاں پہ کہنا چاہوں گی کہ جس طرح سے شہزاد صاحب نے بھی بات کی کہ ایک ادارہ جو کر سکتا ہے وہ ساری چیزیں, لیکن ایک ادارے کے حوالے سے, ایک ادارے کے اینڈ سے بہت ساری چیزیں آپ کر سکتے ہو کہ یہ امینڈمنٹس کی, یہ آپ نے انیشیٹوز دیے سر, لیکن ایک انڈیویجول کے لیول پر بھی, جس طرح سے ہم بہت ساری چیزوں کے اندر گورنمنٹ کو بلیم کرتے ہیں, گورنمنٹ یہ نہیں کرتی, گورنمنٹ وہ نہیں کرتی, ہم انڈیویجول لیول پہ کیا چیز کر سکتے ہیں, تو وہ چیز بہت ضروری ہے. کیونکہ میں نے جو فیل کیا, خاص طور پر میں میڈیا کی فیلڈ کی بات کروں گی, کہ اس میں خواتین نے اپنے آپ کو بہت جگہوں پر خود ریسٹرکٹ کیا ہوا ہے کہ ہم جو ہے, کیونکہ میڈیا جو ہے وہ 24/7 ہے, اور میڈیا کا معاملہ یہ بھی ہے کہ آپ یعنی ایک میوزیم میں نیو یارک میں ایک وال بنی ہوئی ہے جس میں لکھا ہوا ہے کہ جب کوئی ڈیزاسٹر ہوتا ہے تو وہاں پہ صرف 3 لوگ, سب دور بھاگتے ہیں, ڈیزاسٹر جب ہوتا ہے تو صرف 3 لوگ ہوتے ہیں جو اس جگہ پر جاتے ہیں. ایک پولیس والے ہوں گے, کاپ ہوگا, دوسرا وہ ہوگا فائر مین ہوگا, اور تیسرے جرنلسٹ ہوں گے. یعنی جب ڈیزاسٹر ہوتا ہے تو جرنلسٹ بھاگ رہے ہوتے ہیں اس خبر کے لیے. تو آپ تو ظاہر سی بات ہے جب آپ نے یہ پروفیشن جوائن کیا ہے تو پھر آپ بھول جائیں کہ آپ فیمیل ہے, پھر آپ یہ بھول جائیں کہ آپ کے اندر وہ اسٹرینتھ ہے یا نہیں ہے, آپ اس وقت پروفیشنل ہے, دیٹس اٹ. اس کے بعد آپ کے پاس کوئی اس طرح کی کوئی وہ نہیں ہے. تو جب وہ گلاس سیلنگ والی بات آتی ہے نا, تو میں تھوڑا سا اس سے ڈینائی اس لیے کرتی ہوں کیونکہ آپ ڈسکرمنیٹ خود کرتے ہیں کہ جب آپ یہ کہتے ہیں نہیں میں خاتون ہوں تو میں رات میں کام نہیں کر سکتی, نہیں میں خاتون ہوں تو میں اس ٹائم پہ کام نہیں کر سکتی. میں اپنا صرف ذاتی ایکسپیرینس یہاں پہ تھوڑا سا اس طرح سے شیئر کروں گی کہ آپ کو میں نے جب خود سے چیزیں چھیننا شروع کی کہ مجھے یہ کام بھی کرنا ہے, مجھے وہ کام بھی کرنا ہے, تو انہوں نے دینا اس لیے شروع کی کیونکہ ایک کارپوریٹ کلچر جو ہے, کمرشلائز کوئی انڈسٹری یا کوئی بھی آرگنائزیشن ہوگی, اس کا مین پرپز ہے پروفٹ ارننگ. وہ چاہے گی کہ اس کو منافع ہو کسی بھی صورت, تو وہ یہ دیکھے گی کہ اس کا امپلائی اس کے لیے کتنا بینیفیشل ہے. پھر وہ بعض دفعہ یہ بھول جاتے ہیں کہ یہ وہ جینڈر انکانشیس بائسنس ہے نا, وہ بھی بھول جاتا ہے. تو یہ معاملہ ہے کہ آپ خود کہاں پہ وہ ڈسٹرکٹ کرتے ہو خود کو. لائک ابھی میں شو جو پروڈیوس کر رہی ہوں اس میں میرے ٹائمنگز ہیں, میں رات میں 3 بجے آفس میں ہوتی ہوں, تو میری جو پوری ٹیم ہے وہ مردوں کی ٹیم ہے اور اس کو میں لیڈ کر رہی ہوں. اور میری ٹیم کے اندر جو انفیکٹ سینئر میل ہے, تو اب جس طرح سے آپ نے کہا نا کہ مردوں نے کتنا سپورٹ کیا یا کر رہے ہیں, میری ٹیم کے اندر سینئر میل اسٹاف ہے جو مجھے فالو کرتا ہے یا جو میرے کمانڈس پہ کام کرتا ہے, لیکن وہ یہ دیکھ کے کام کرتے ہیں کہ اگر ہم رات میں 3 بجے آ سکتے ہیں تو یہ آ سکتی ہے, تو پھر کہاں کا جینڈر ڈفرینس. तो आप खुद को जब तक रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं करते तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि बहुत सारी रुकावटें। और दूसरी चीज़ ये कि जो जेंडर बायसनेस होती है वो बाज़ दफ़ा आपको खुद मिसपरसेप्शन की तरह ही होती है। जो शुरू में एक स्टार्टिंग में जैसा से बात की कि 364 डेज मर्दों के और एक दिन खातून का होने दें, मैं इस चीज़ को नहीं मानती। द रीज़न इज़ कि आप ये भी उसी तरह का मिसपरसेप्शन है जिस तरह से बहुत सारी चीज़ें कि ख़वातीन के सारे ही दिन है, बस ये आपकी सोच आपने बदलनी है। जिस तरह से आप मर्दों को कहते हैं कि उनकी सोच वो तब्दील करे, तो ख़वातीन को भी अपनी सोच तब्दील करनी पड़ेगी। अगर वो मैदान में उतर रही है ना, फिर वो ये भूल जाए कि वो एक खातून है।
बहुत शुक्रिया शहबानो, थैंक यू, दैट वाज वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव. Just for the knowledge of the audience, I think there is an International Men's Day also celebrated, which is the 19th of November. So I think the council should celebrate that also. Okay, coming to you, Shumaila, you are a chartered accountant, and even CA is an extremely male-dominated profession. So how has your experience been like, working as a chartered accountant and now working in ICAP? Can you tell us that?
I believe that just because you're outnumbered, it doesn't mean that you cannot climb up the corporate ladder. There are certain things that we all women should do, like to thrive in such environments. Number one, that be good. Whatever task has been assigned to you, make your reputation, build up a good reputation. Identify to be known as someone who is competent and who can be counted on. Just as Sherbanu said, that take up extra assignments. It will give you visibility and do a good job with that. I also believe that it's very important to not work in silos. Have very good relationships with your colleagues, be it males and females. If you have any unique strength, use that skill. If you don't have any skill that you think that can help you succeed, learn those skills and use it. So I think with these traits, even if it's a male-dominated profession, you can do very well.
Oh, that's great. And we know that you are a young mother, you have small children. So what infrastructure benefits do you think should be provided by an employer?
Unfortunately, in Pakistan, there are a handful of organizations which are cognizant of the fact that when you hire a woman, she is bound to get married, she is bound to have children. So very few organizations make a conscious effort to provide enabling environment for women workforce, for working mothers. I think these concepts are very workable in developed countries, and we should also have it in Pakistan. In-house daycare centers, flexible hours, and the opportunity to work from home. I think these benefits will really make a big difference for working mothers.
Thank you so much. Atit sir, coming to you now.
Shukriya.
Okay. We know that you run a very successful family business. Could you shed some light of how, if women in your family want to take up the family business and they want to come forward, how the men in your family view that, and if they take any business decisions, how do the men respond to that?
Let me talk on two fronts. One is my little small to medium-sized business, and the other is the Citizens Foundation. First, the business. We wrote a constitution about how the business will go forward, and it has no gender bias. So my daughter was a key position holder. She had little children who were running around the office in the daycare nursery. So no bias at all. Women are generally, not digressing, but women are born advantaged, all right? And why are they advantaged? A, their focus is much better. B, they're much smarter, all right? And let me give you a little example that when the Prince of Monaco was getting married a couple of years ago, there were huge stories in the press on why his to-be wife is the right age. And psychologists in Europe have worked out the right age of a woman when she gets married to the man as to what the two ages should be, and should there be a difference or not. Now, Ibn Khaldun had worked this out 800 years ago. Do any of you know this formula? Raise your hand if you do. What should the age of the man and the woman be? So Ibn Khaldun's formula is what psychologists have now come to scientifically, is that the woman's age at the time of marriage should be half plus 7 of the man's age. So suppose for the sake of the argument, a 50-year-old man is getting married How old should the woman be? So that is how smart she is at 32 versus a man at 50. No, a woman is, listen, पहली बात तो ये है कि professional women, you don't have to prove anything. You are good, you're smart, you will do very well. You've got to balance because roles are different. But also, let me give you the second example, which I use in my management for male managers, is that I tell them that the status of a manager up there is more than the owner's status. What do I base this on? I base this on the fact that suppose there is a difference of opinion between man and woman and they separate. Okay? अलहदगी हो जाती है. So the owner of the children is the man, right? मगर उनका अमीन कौन है? Is the woman. और उसका status is 3 times more up there. So women are born advantaged. Okay? They have much stronger understanding of life and a role. Professional में आना, they're bound to do well if they give it everything. So they have their different duties, so responsibilities, and they hold back. Otherwise, you know, they have taken over the world in the past, many times. But I won't tell you what happened when they did. If you want, I will, but otherwise
yes, you
I won't.
Tell us briefly.
Yeah, briefly is that Egypt had seven Cleopatras, one after the other. And in these 7 Cleopatras, they were attacked 19 times because of the perception of the invading army. All right. So history में बहुत कुछ हुआ है. But here, okay. So a great role they do. और मैं Citizens Foundation की बात कर दूँ to everybody's happiness. I hope that 15 years ago, we had a full-time daycare nursery. It exists till today. We are the largest employer of private sector employer of women in Pakistan. We employ 12,500 women. Okay, and in the head office as well, the ratio of women is much larger. So in that respect, there's a huge respect for them and their roles in society. And in the family as well, there's no gender bias.
Okay, my next question was going to be regarding gender inclusion. When you recruit for your business or for TCF schools, so do you make sure that there's a gender parity or a gender balance
TCF
maintained?
school model, in the TCF school model is that all teachers will be female. So वो तो उधर tilted है सारे का सारा, thankfully, and we like that because we'd like more girls to come to school. At the office as well, there is no bias, all right? But on the whole understanding of how an employer works and how an employer thinks, there is more to this than meets the eye, okay? Let me tell you, if a man is hiring a woman, all right, he interviews 100 women, and I ask him, किसी एक शख्स के अंदर आने से घंटी बजी थी दिमाग में? And if he is honest and truthful, he will say, yes, bhaji thi. So this is how Allah has programmed men and women. So you've got to be careful and respectful and understand the human being, and then you will understand the male-female ratio. And the lady who came in here said, stay-home moms. Yes, great respect for stay-home moms. Let me give you a little story and then Aziz bhai. When we were doing the Citizens Foundation, we were working very closely with the police, and the director of FIA, he was with us now in the police working as a DIG, and he said when he took over his position as director FIA, he was given a PowerPoint presentation of what is happening good and bad in Karachi, and the last real big bad point was कि ली मार्केट से एक बस चलती है और वो रोज रोम जाती है. Okay? He said, I got very upset. ये illegal immigration है, इसको बंद करो. They arrested all the drivers and impounded a few buses and everything. Now he was very happy because he said, you know, हमारा नाम खराब होता है पाकिस्तान से illegal immigrants जाते हैं. 2 months later, he receives a message from the Italian embassy in Islamabad that an Italian delegation is coming, and 2 people from that delegation would like to visit Karachi and meet this Pride officer. So he was very happy. He laid out the silverware. They flew in from Islamabad. They sat with him. After exchanging pleasantries, he said, "Are you happy?" They said, "Absolutely not. We came to see कौन अहमक आदमी है जिसने बस बंद कर दी है." He said, "Why do you say that? आप हमारे लोग पकड़ते हैं, हमारे मुल्क का नाम खराब होता है." They said, "Cross our heart, we only deport 10%. Our women are not having children. Our economy is going down. So we'd like you to continue to send people to our country. We need cheap labor. And eventually ये पढ़ लिख जाएंगे and stuff like that." So it's a very good direction. In Pakistan, of course, there is a huge bias and we are all working towards it. But I agree with Kate, International Women's Day to rose hai, okay? Because believe you me, all of us feel that they're right up there, alhamdulillah. And we will be as supportive as we can be.
Thank you so much, Kate. Aziz Saab, coming to you now. Last but not the least, I would say, there's so much talk about women empowerment nowadays, and the whole Women's Day event is being celebrated and all. So, do these talks about women empowerment, do men feel threatened by that? Do they feel that like women are going to take over? It's like their position is going to be undermined. What is your view on that?
I think that these sort of days should be celebrated in countries, backward countries like USA, not in Pakistan, when the world did not know how a female, not going back to the ages, like the 5 Maharanis of Bhopal state were all ladies, But let's talk of the modern days when even Margaret Thatcher has not become an MP. Asia gave the world the first Prime Minister. That was in 60s when Golda Meir became the Prime Minister of Israel. And after that there have been so many, Pandra Naike and Golda Meir was a school teacher, not in the Citizen Foundation, but with some school. And Pandra Naike, if you Google her book, From Kitchen to Cabinet, you can read it that she was not even a school teacher and she led the nation. And then I'm talking of senior Pandra Naike. So I think that having leaders is good, but we need to see what are the issues the female face at the grassroots level. Let's look at my business. Out of 7,000 employees, we must be having 70% female. That's a good news. Now, it's just not at the bottom level, but there are managers also, supervisors, general managers. But in the last 40 years, the sad part has been that very often a manager who has worked with us for 20 years, 25 years, or 18 years comes, opens the door and comes and says, "Sir, I want to start my own unit." And believe me, I'm happy. I'm happy because an entrepreneur is being created and who may go and open an account with Standard Chartered Bank the next day. But what has not happened is that I have yet to see a female walk into my room and say that she wants to start her own unit. Maybe the surrounding or circumstances are still not mature, and our banking system also. Like for example, microcredit. When Bangladesh started it in 1982, Pakistan came up with microcredit in sometime 2002, and today also, we are not in a mature state. There are senior bankers and chartered accountants sitting here also. And, having female as entrepreneurs, I think that is what is the need. About 3.5 years back, I was speaking, I had a chat with the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. I look up at her, she's a very successful lady. I don't know what our politicians and government feel bad about her. So, she has done well. If you look at the figures, at the numbers, and the best thing is that I asked her one question, like you are asking now. I asked her one question. I said, when East Pakistan was part of Pakistan, the growth rate in East Pakistan was higher than that of West Pakistan. I said, Prime Minister, you did not only turn around that, but you have got the lowest growth rate in the whole of Southeast Asia, by even overtaking Sri Lanka. And her reply was simple. We created women entrepreneurs. At that time, I remember she told me that 4.1 million women were her microcredit borrowers. Now, if these females are into business, then they would not be into the business of having children every year. So you see the whole concept changes, then they call the shots, they determine. So that is where we needed. One more thing I wanted to share with you was that looking at the problems of, what female have, they will not be facing. Once they've done the MBA, they will get a job. I'm sure they will. If in a TV station or in a multinational, they would. But if you look at the rural areas or even Karachi, you have a high percentage, you will bear with me, high percentage of dropout of girls when they cross the age of 12. For one simple reason that there are no toilets inside the schools. Forget the rural areas. The toilets which are there in the government schools in Karachi are non-functional. So this is a big issue. Although when I look at the whole of Asia, India has a different problem. India has a problem because, they have got a religious taboo that the toilet should not be made in the home. They make movies, but they can't make toilets. So I feel
they
that...
make movies over toilets.
Yeah, but they don't make toilets. So I think that we feel that there are good opportunities. And I just got this mail today and I just wanted to share with you and leave you some thoughts on that. Canada has been quite supportive. And when Justin Trudeau took oath of the cabinet in 2015, he had 50% female ministers. And when he was asked by the press reporters that why, he said because it is 2015. So, today I'm part of this global citizen. So this was millions of women and girls lack access to health care, which holds them back from realizing their rights and reaching their full potential. The world needs global health champions to change this into reality. Canada in 2019 will host a woman deliver in Vancouver, the largest global conference on women's rights and health. It will present a key opportunity for Canada to maintain its global leadership on women and girls' health. We count on your action to make it happen. So you see that they feel that Canada can be a leader for women's rights, and I hope that they are successful. If I get an opportunity, I'll definitely participate. Thank you for inviting me.
That's very useful insights into Bangladesh as well as Canada.
I can leave that with
I have one last question for you, Aziz Saab. Given the scenario that you're in Pakistan and you have an illustrious career behind you and you're such a successful entrepreneur, would you have been as successful if you were a woman? What do you think?
Well, it would have depended what business I would have been into. As I told you that
In the
in the
similar
business
vein,
which I mentioned to you, I did tell you that when so many male have come and walked in, there have not been female who have taken up this challenge. So that gives the answer.
Okay. Thank you so much. And before we break up for the question and answer session, I'd like to quote Whitney Houston. You know, I love quoting quotes. So she said, "I like being a woman in a man's world. After all, we can wear dresses, whereas they cannot." Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for the panelists? No. So I think it's self-explanatory then. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Can the panel, as well as Punita, can you stay here for a minute? Thank you for this wonderful talk. Can we please have on stage Mr. Nadeem Yusuf, past President ICAP, to give a token of appreciation to our panel, as well as... Okay, I think Mr. Nadeem had to leave. So therefore, can we please have Mr. Farrokh Rahman, Vice President, as well as... Hira, can you please accompany? Khurshid and Saira, can you join us as well on stage, please? Okay, a token of appreciation for our moderator, as well as our member of Chartered Accountants Women Committee, Ms. Muniza Bhatt. These tokens of appreciation have been very generously provided by Alia Bukhari. Thank you, Alia, for these small giveaways. We really appreciate them. We then have for a token of appreciation from Ms. Annie Shehzad. Our dynamic producer of Sama TV, Ms. Sherbano. Next we have Shumaila Halo. Of course, our male panelist, Mr. Atid Riaz. And lastly, but definitely not the least, Mr. Aziz Mehmet. Okay, the photographers want a group photograph, so can we please have all the panelists? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a strong woman stands up for herself. A stronger woman stands up for everyone else. This is very apt for our next speaker. Dr. Zilaf P. Munir, she is the MD and CEO of EBM since 2015. A medical doctor by profession, Ms. Zilaf has taken the company to new heights. During her regime, EBM has received the Best Place to Work award in the FMCG and National Companies category. Actively involved in social initiatives like Community Development Program, Dr. Zilaf has a lot to offer. Without much wait, please welcome Dr. Zilaf P. Munir.
Respected President ICAP, ICAP Council, the Southern Regional Committee, the CA Women's Committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this wonderful event. And why do I say it's a wonderful event? Because it's really heartening to see professional institutions like ICAP providing the kind of thought leadership that they are providing, to be setting such examples with just the statistics that were quoted in the professional community of the accountants, as well as all the facts and figures that were presented to us by Shehzad, the CEO of Standard Chartered. The first thing that I was thinking of was, well, every statistic that I had has already been covered by all of these wonderfully enlightened male speakers and amazingly progressive female speakers on the panelists. So does that make my job harder or easier? I think it makes it easier for the audience because I really don't have to belabor you with all of the very important facts, figures, statistics about why it is so important for women to be included in every aspect of the economic development and workforce, because I'm here as a corporate leader speaking with you. So, and when we say, well, why do we care about increasing the share of women or women empowerment? I think the answer is already very clear. It is basically a critical pillar of sustainability. And empowering women fuels thriving economies, as we have heard already. It stimulates productivity and growth. Improved economic opportunities for women lead to better outcomes for families, societies, countries, and companies. I'm very privileged to be standing here as the CEO and MD of one of the largest FMCGs in the country. And broadly speaking, why is it so important for me? Well, 50% of my market is women, and 50% of the potential of the talent pool is women. So if my job is to future-proof the company, how can I not include women in every decision that I make? Which leads me to what I think is very important as leaders, all of us who are in leadership positions here, to understand. So the greatest assets for companies are not just machines and skill sets of today, as we know, but the human capital and knowledge for tomorrow. And furthermore, we do know that technology is changing the world and the workplaces. And I do see that as an opportunity for women in Pakistan. But I think what is most important, and it's a saying that I believe in and have used before, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And hence, an organizational culture that is inclusive and diverse leads to the growth and progress for the future. We need more women in decision-making roles. We need more women in leadership roles. We don't just need women in our workforces or women in roles in which you see them as somebody who may be availing the flex leave, the flex time, the maternity leave, or any of those benefits. All of those lead to increased loyalty, productivity, retention of your own workforce, which is going to be one of our greatest challenges for the future. I also believe that the women themselves need to be, as was already quoted by one of the speakers, leaning in. So I don't just put the responsibility of all of our male counterparts and colleagues to be making the place for the women. I feel that women who are in positions of privilege and power need to be leaning in and making themselves heard and making room for other women to also be following. We know that the statistics that have been quoted about the representation of women in boards, how that is important, representation of women in strategic roles, and how higher performing companies report much more in terms of percentage of women in decision-making roles and making strategic decisions. I can tell you for myself, well, our company, we've had over the past 3 to 4 years, a decade's worth of growth because of all the wonderful men and women who work with us. We do have 40% representation on the board, but more importantly, in my executive leadership team, I strive to keep over 30% representation. And I have found that to be something that has helped in facilitating the cultural change that is required to make organizations more inclusive, more diverse, and hence more geared for the future. So that is, I think, the only advice that I may be able to give, which has not already been covered in terms of all that one needs to do to ensure that 50% of our potential is not left behind, because that means 50% of the potential, economic potential of the country is not going to be utilized. And who better to understand that than all the amazing accountants and professionals who are sitting in this room. But more importantly, I think, besides creating opportunities for women to be coming, let's be cognizant of what the needs are at different levels. So if it is someone who is at an entry-level position, having an opportunity to be hired is what is important for them, so hence it is equal opportunity. If it is somebody at the junior management level, line managers need to be appreciating and promoting healthy work-life balance. If it is middle management, we should be openly able to communicate with the male colleagues and feel respected. And if it is senior management, the opportunity to pursue more challenging roles and tasks in the company is of most important and is imperative. So different stages of careers for women have different needs, as do for men. Similarly, women at different stages of their life and different times in their careers have different needs. We spoke about the wanting to stay at home mom, and we spoke about the women who've become prime ministers, and we have many role models from Pakistan as well. The choice should certainly be of the woman. My mother was a working woman when she got married. She chose not to work and be a homemaker after that. She raised 4 professional, career-oriented women. She was married to a very enlightened man, which makes a big difference. I I went to medical school, trained as a physician, chose not to work for 2 years. But I should say, even before I was the eldest, before I was getting married, my husband, who was in a rush, the husband to be at that time, who was in a rush to get married, and my father was, well, he has 4 daughters, but he was like, and I'm the eldest, and he says, what's the rush? She wants to do things in life. She can get married whenever she's done with her medical school. So he says, no, I promise you that she can do whatever she wants, but just get us married. He kept his word. I chose not to work for 2 years, then joined my residency program, which entailed, so what the point I'm making is I chose not to work for 2 years, which was fine too. After that, I started doing my residency, which entailed 36-hour long duty on the job, which requires a lot of support from your husband and your families. And that's the second point I want to make for the women here. Do not shy away from seeking allies and help and making your own husbands and families your advocates. The more allies you have in your journey, the easier it becomes. I'll skip to then of course I was the entrepreneur that I was, wanted to pursue business degree, was running for an election for a very prominent organization. I was very popular being a woman, and it's nice to at least have representation of women as most organizations feel. But now I'm going to talk about the glass ceiling up to a certain point, when it became clearer that here is a woman who seems to have a mind of her own and has progressive thought processes. Maybe it may not be the best idea for this woman to be becoming the president. Whatever the reasons may be, the election results were such that I did not win that election. I did not think that I felt there were things that were wrong, there was foul play, so I challenged it. And I won the challenge, and I was right. So at that point, I decided that I decided that I will let the other gentleman be the president. So there was a re-election after that in which I did stand. I won with the highest number of votes ever in the history of that organization. And it was both men and women who voted for me. So what I'm trying to say is things, circumstances, minds, they change. You have to stay your course, and you have to continue to believe in what it is that you want to do. End of the day, what matters is what is it that you want to do to make a difference in your home, in your family, in the communities, in the world. And that is, end of the day, what gives each and every one of us a reason for being and the happiness that all of us seek. So for all the men in this room, I would urge you to think of women in decision-making and leadership roles. There is adequate research that actually validates the fact that that is something that leads to better business performance and results. So it is in the commercial interest to be doing so as well. And I would urge all the women here to continue to believe in yourself and do whatever you think your potential is and whatever it is that you want to do. Thank you very much.
Dr. Islaf, can you please stay a minute on stage? Can we please have President ICAP, Mr. Riaz Rahman, along with Ms. Hina? to have a token of appreciation being presented. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Zinal. Ladies and gentlemen, India recently had a Rising India Summit in which speakers from all fraternities were invited. And since Bollywood is like staple food, it wasn't surprising that the literal queen of Bollywood, Kangana Ranaut, was a speaker. In spite of her gutsy image, what struck me was her patriotism. She said it was very easy to criticize the infrastructure, to complain about the nation, but whose duty is it to clean? And in her words, and I quote, "Aap kaun hai mulk ke? Mehman hai kya?" It is this zeal and patriotism that we require amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, the next talk is about this. Take a stand. Let's build better communities together through entrepreneurial drive. Moderator for this, we have Ms. Hina Sadiq, partner at Deloitte Yusuf and Adil. Hina has also been a very active and vocal supporter of the Chartered Accountants Women Committee since its inception and continues to contribute towards the Institute. Please welcome Ms. Hina Sadiq. Our participants for the discussion include Ms. Sadia Dada. She is the head of corporate communications at K Electric. Her prior experience includes Unilever, Nestle, and Jazz. She runs a philanthropic initiative, Made to Shop, to educate underprivileged girls and create awareness about issues of domestic work at place. Please welcome Ms. Sadia Dada. Okay, I'm afraid Ms. Sadia is not here yet. Okay, our next panelist, Ms. Raida Latif. She is a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing since 2008. Her experience ranges from FMCG, IT, and infrastructure. A visiting faculty at various prestigious institutes, Ms. Raida is making her mark. Please welcome Ms. Raida Latif. And last, our very own, Ms. Saira Nasir. Always on the go. Saira ensures that things are done on time. She has been associated with the Institute in the capacity of directorship and now is the CEO of e-learning. Please have Ms. Saira Nasir. With this, Hina, I leave you to unleash these dynamic females and let's have a good talk.
Since one of our panelists is not here, there's somebody who has something to speak about all the time. May I please invite Ms. Suma Pasha to join us? I know she's complaining that she's not desperate, I want to visit her anyways. But just to add flavor. What a lot of people don't know that she was the running president for our women's forum for God knows how many years. She doesn't look that way, violated all the rules. Violated all the rules, and she's one of the biggest reasons that we are here today. While I was sitting here, I was wondering that, talk was to be more entrepreneurial in its name, and I did not want to stick to the given questions or the given format, and then everyone speaks their piece and then goes on. I would like it to be more of a conversation between enlightened women who know what they want in life, what they've achieved in life, and what entrepreneurship is all about. To me, entrepreneurship is the start of any community. Imagine a world where there were no entrepreneurs, no risk takers. Who would employ us then? The professionals would be out of a job because there would be no business. So to me, I think the community, the concept of community started with entrepreneurship. And it came as history as we know it, when the first person who was probably cultivating wheat had a desire to get something to wear. And he decided that instead of growing it and processing it himself, he should barter his wheat with someone who has cloth to offer in excess. And that is how the first marketplace came into being. That is when people came together, started living together, and started working for each other's advantage. And that is what today our community is all about. It is about people coming from diversified cultures, ethnic backgrounds, genders, all of them coming together for a common purpose of self-preservation and growth. That's how I look at entrepreneurship, and that is my interpretation of it. But what I would really like to know is that how would each of you define entrepreneurship very briefly? That is how I look at it, but I would really appreciate everyone's views on it.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you and thank ICAP for inviting us here and giving us the opportunity, and especially me, the opportunity to talk about entrepreneurship. While I'm working in the corporate sector, I've also, to my credit, setting up 2 businesses. One back in 2010, which is a daycare center, which is running till date. And so I can actually relate to the concept of being an entrepreneur. It's all about, as you said, it's about bringing up or beginning a community. But I think it's more about taking that risk, being able to put your thoughts in action, because I come across a lot of people who have a lot of ideas, but that ability, great ideas on paper, great business plans on paper, excellent P&Ls, but actually transforming those ideas into reality, that's the challenge. And it's the first step that actually is the most difficult. When you're there, and when you have to put in the seed fund, when you have to put in the basics, foundations, the SOPs, the guidelines, the plans, everything into process, that is the difficult part. Once you're up and running, then that's fine. But that risk and the kind of thoughts that come into your head during that time, whether it will be good or not, yes. You have to have that financial acumen as well, risk-taking, calculated risk. I mean, I'm sure you guys, of all the people, would understand the concept of taking risks, but calculated ones. It's very important to do that. The other thing, I would say, it's constantly thinking, because once you're an entrepreneur, it's not like you're in an organization in a particular unit and contributing. You're the CEO of that organization. Whether you take that designation or not, that's beside the point, but you have to think from that perspective. You have to think of HR. You have to think of employee motivation, how you need to, treat your employees, what kind of potential, what kind of JDs you need to prepare for your employees, what are your expectations from those roles. moving from there, you have to be the finance head or CFO for your organization. You have to also look at the admin side of your business. So you have to think customer services, I mean, you know. And most, I would say foremost, would be that you're the salesperson. Every entrepreneur is a salesperson. You have to go and project your business. You have to tell the world what's good about it. What are you offering? What's there in it for anybody who's going to come to you? And why would they come to you? So for being an entrepreneur, and I think, you know, women are, well, I don't want to be biased, but women have that ability because they're multitaskers. I'm not being biased because men have their certain abilities and characteristics and women have different characteristics. So by nature, women are good multitaskers. So I feel that they can play multiple roles as well. So that way they can actually be good entrepreneurs too. I think I'll leave the stage for the other ladies.
Assalamu alaikum. Well, I fully agree with you, and she has given a very detailed definition of entrepreneurs. You see, what I really believe, what I feel good about it is that it's not only providing something for yourself, but it is also providing something for the community. You see, you create a whole cycle. That's the best thing about entrepreneurship, because you see, you employ people and you serve the community. And the best thing is that you can manage your own time. You see, if you're your own business owner, you manage your own time. You can plan your freedom your way. I think that's the best thing, and especially for females. I think it's very good because you see, we really know how to strike work-life balance very well. Because we are not only managing our businesses, but we are also managing our houses. And I think it's a very good thing if a woman starts her own business, because then she's her own command, like she has her own command in her hand.
Saira, we are all talking about all about success stories. It's about the finance and it's about this, but a large part of being an entrepreneur is the ability to accept failure, to be able to process it, to fall down, to get back up again.
That's the risk we are taking.
How do you think that being a woman, because we are, even by our society, by the place we work, there are numerous occasions when we are just let down just for the mere fact that we are women. And then when we become entrepreneurs, the first expectation that comes to everyone's mind is, it's not going to work.
True.
And at times it doesn't work.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? What does an entrepreneur go through when that happens?
You see, like I'll give you my example. When I started my company, e-learning, you see, it was a new concept, right? People were not accepting it. And then initiated by a lady, that was again, you wouldn't believe, I had to take a male partner with me to float the idea because they were not accepting it. When I used to go to companies and I used to have presentations, I did find this difficulty. And for like 2-3 years, I was really upset and I thought of giving it up. But then my husband said, no, why do you want to give it up? People are going to come back to you. So you just keep on going. But I took a male partner to support myself for that. So this is how the perception is, that what you say. Because that was a failure for me, you see, because when I wasn't getting a response, that was basically a failure. But again, I would compliment a man who supported me. My husband said, no, you're not going to give up. You're going to get up and you're going to still do it. But I got more response, not from the Pakistani market, but from abroad. Because I think it's more acceptable over there. It was a new idea. But now I think it's coming in Pakistan also.
Would you like to add your 2 pence to the entrepreneurial drive?
Well, I'd like to begin with the definition and what my definition of an entrepreneur is. It's very simple. Imagine the unimaginable and make it happen. And I think, in this day and age with technology coming in, this is going to play a very, very important role. All these new ventures that Ubers and the Airbnb, what were they? They're all exactly that. And I think the young girls who are sitting here should be able to do that. If you want to think whatever you can deliver, because you have the power now, you have technology at your hand. And we are going to leapfrog into technology. We're not going to be sitting back. So the new entrepreneurs will be doing things that we didn't even think about. And in the West, they're talking about everybody getting out of jobs. I think we should be thinking about how can we use technology not to get people out of jobs, but how to create more jobs and make them really worthwhile for everybody. So that's what my idea of entrepreneur is, that imagine the imaginable, unimaginable, and make it happen.
But Huma, when we look at females and in general, we have this innate sense of security when we start working in a certain place and we get familiar with the place, the people, and then we become scared of moving out, of spreading our wings and going out there and make it happen, as you say. But isn't that the thrill of it all?
It is. What happens is that the way to success, and the thing is that you have to move out of your comfort zone. If you get into your comfort zone, you're never going to be successful. And I know it's very tough and it's difficult, and it's so much easier to continue doing what you're doing. And I know every time I've done something different, I've always regretted it, but then in the end, it's just paid off.
But to me, life is like a journey, and I think so is entrepreneurship. It's like a journey. You fall down, you get up again, you get that courage back, you become risk averse for a while, but then get that act back together again.
I 100% agree with you. That's exactly what it is. So, especially if you start coming up with new ideas, it's going to take you a long time to refine the idea to be able to come up with what it's going to be.
I think it just doesn't happen with females only, it happens with men as well. It's for an entrepreneur, it's the passion, the innate passion to actually deliver or do something which keeps them on this drive, on this journey to act, as you say, to go and realize your dream. If you have that passion and there's this nagging thing in the back of your head, even if you're in your comfortable job and you have a certain income coming and you're scared that this will be, but I have seen people who, and men as well as women, who actually have taken that leap. It's faith in yourself, it's faith in your idea, it's faith in what you're bringing to the table for the people, the service that you're providing through your entrepreneurial venture, and then yes, you're out there. We see these brands today. I'll talk about Cardi, that started off as an entrepreneurial venture. Sana Safinas, these weren't organizations that are there today, but today they have factories, they employ people, they have designers on board, they're spelling out, and they're the retail, the fashion for today. So when you start off, obviously it's tough, it's the initial few years, but then that's how you keep yourself going. That's the passion, the belief, and then obviously managing the tough time. And if you're determined, you'll reach there. And as Huma added, technology today, I look at all the youngsters today and I say, I look at my nieces and nephews and I say, you guys are so lucky. When I was in college and university, we had to go to the library, look up a certain book by the title and the author and everything. Today, these kids, they have everything. When we had to do our projects, we had to go and slog away. And children today have access to everything. So technology has made life easier. Yes, a bit complicated also, but it's how you use technology to your advantage. As she said, Kareem, Uber, we see shops. I think Shehzad also mentioned, or somebody mentioned about all these entrepreneurs on these on Facebook. We see these different home delivery solutions coming up. I use all these online order sites for even my groceries, because being a working woman, I reach home by 6, 7 o'clock. It's just the Saturdays or the Sundays that you have for these other chores. So what you do is you organize, you try to use these online services. And obviously, when they are there, these are entrepreneurs. Mandi Express, Q&E, these are services. They have these apps. I'll try one. If I get a good service, I'll stick to them. I'll try another. We try these services, and they're again entrepreneurs. And as a professional, I feel I'm supporting them if I'm utilizing these services. So on one hand, we need to encourage. On the other, we also need to facilitate them and support them.
My question to you, Saira, would be that how are we looking at, because one of the other panelists also was referring to the fact कि फैक्ट्री में बहुत अरसे के बाद लोग आके जेंट्स आके नॉर्मली कहते हैं कि हमको अपना यूनिट स्टार्ट करना है, बट ही स्टिल वांटेड टू सी अ वुमन कमिंग अप एंड सेइंग द सेम थिंग. My question was always because to men also, and we believe ourselves also to be very empathetic creatures, and we think from the heart. The mind normally takes a backseat. That's the general perception. How does, and entrepreneurship is all about the mind. How would you bring them both together and develop a service that is actually contributing to the community and satisfy that risk-taking individual which Raida was referring to?
Well, Hina, I'll tell you, thinking from heart, ये हमारा बहुत बड़ा strong point है. You see, we females, I think we are more emotional, and I always feel we are emotional. That is why probably we are better team players, and I think this contributes to our business skills. And this because I know men are also, but they really think from their mind only. We are more sympathetic to our employees. We are more concerned about their problems. We listen to them. We lend them a listening ear and everything. So I think we should, brain and mind go together, because you see, we are not, I think as a female, I'm more concerned with the process, how I reach the goal. It's not the goal that I'm focusing on. It's the process also that I concentrate. We concentrate on our environment also. We do not isolate ourselves, that we just say that we are going to concentrate on what we are going to achieve. We always concentrate on how we are going to achieve. So I think if that is mind and brain work together, I would not say mind and heart should go together. You see, I would not say you can just use your mind and not your heart, but if your heart is not there, I don't think so.
I think that's how we all feel.
Yeah.
And any last thoughts from all of you, from all my esteemed panelists, as to the advice that you would give the younger generation and the females that are sitting here aspiring to be somebody like the people sitting on top here, what should they do differently today? Just one note, one point that, like for me, if I was to think women should come out of their comfort zone, they should start thinking business, and they should stop being complacent and comfortable in whatever they're doing. That would be my takeaway. So what would you be given? Just a note of advice.
Just a note of advice. Well, actually, it is like the winds of change for women. Now everybody's talking about women empowerment. And I also think, it's over a period of time, the way we were brought up. Like when I went to Commerce College, it was an all-boys college, so I was the only girl there. So it was a big fight to get into an all-boys college. But now the girls have much more opportunities, and everybody's encouraging them. So I think they can actually decide what they want to do, and they will find the benefits. And as you said, that there are lots of things, ventures available, and women are moving out of the comfort zone now. We see so many more women. When I was sitting for my chartered accountancy, we were only a handful of women in those days studying for it. But now there's so many girls, so things are evolving and things are making progress. And I think the thought is, and the last thought that I'd give to the young girls sitting here is, decide what you want to do and you can do it. That's it.
Okay, I would just say be bold, because that's what we have to be. Because you see, कोई restriction नहीं हो सकती है, आपकी कोई रुकावट नहीं हो सकती है. You just have to decide that you have to do something. Only decide and go for it, and don't think of anything else.
I think as a since it's a closing point, I think as you said that women are complacent, I do not believe that, because if you actually go to all these microfinance banks, 90%, 95% of their loans are paid off, and they don't have any what do you call it, the bad loans, because it's a majority, 80-90% of their borrowers are women. And those are women entrepreneurs. They may not be at a higher level in the society, but they're at their own grassroots level. The other thing, that a lot of work has been done and is being done again at the grassroots level to ensure that our women, our females are very they're strong. They're more strong-willed. They have this belief in themselves. I mean, a simple thing, if you look at the cartoons these days, Moana, Mulan, they're all telling our girls that, you know, you have to be self-determined, you have to believe in yourself, and come down to our local version of it, the Burqa Avenger. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, you know. We have these, and our women, our girls are more stronger. I see 7-8-year-olds in school every morning when I go to drop my daughter. And the girls are more stronger and more determined, more confident than the boys there. Now the mothers of the boys are also concerned that, you know, ye kya ho raha hai? Ladkiyan aage nikal rahi hai. So having said that, I think putting your thoughts into action is very, very important. And if you fail, big deal. You try again. There's always a next time. You never succeed in the first go. And you have to be persistent. You know, don't give up in 6 months, 1 year. An organization takes 3 years to break even. So give yourself also that much time and faith that yes, you will come out successful, whatever venture you're going into. So yes, support. ये सब साइड की चीज़ें हैं. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to have that thing कि I don't care whatever anybody says, I need to do it, and I have to do it. Unless I do it, I wouldn't know what's my ability or my capability or my potential. So in order to realize your potential, you need to step out and do it. You'll fall. I used to tell my father, please don't tell me what to do, don't tell me do this, don't tell me do that. I want you to be there when I fall. Pick me up then. You know? So your nails should be there to pick you up. But you will fall. You will fall. Be willing to fall. Take that fall, because it will make you stronger. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all my esteemed panelists for having a conversation with me, and it just went the way I had planned it. So thank you very much, and thank you for the audience. They were willing to listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Hina. Thank you, panelists. Please stay a minute on stage. Can we please have Mr. Arsalan Khalid on stage, Member Regional Committee South, Ms. Hina, Ms. Khurshid, to give a token of appreciation to the moderator as well as our panelists.
The moderator should have come last. But they want me to get off the stage. Okay. Thank you.
Nisa, can you join us as well? Hina, we're not just letting you go off that easily. There's the token as well.
Thank you.
Okay, can we have Ms. Raida, please? And last, but the one who actually, not the last when it comes to the panel, of course, Ms. Huma Pasha was kind enough to fill in the space. Thank you, Huma. Yes. The people are telling me, you forgot the one who's always on the go. I said, yes, it's Saira. I know. Saira, can we have you as well? Okay, can we have the group photo, please? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving towards the last but the much awaited segment of our event, the CA Women Achievement Awards 2018. This idea was conceived last year under the leadership of the then chairperson, Chartered Accountants Women Committee, Mr. Farooq Rahman. It was a conscious and a unanimous decision to appreciate women in our fraternity. We had two categories back then, CA Women of the Year Award and CA Aspiring Student of the Year. But this year, ladies and gentlemen, we went a notch up. We have CA Women Lifetime Achievement Awards. Before we proceed with these awards, please allow me to brief you a little about how this procedure went on. For the Lifetime Achievement Award, we had 18 females who had 25 years plus of membership as at March 8, 2018. These members were eligible and were then nominated by members. The nominees were then sent an evaluation form. This evaluation form was designed and created by Marcom, Education and Examination departments of ICAP. And then these nomination forms were evaluated by an independent jury. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have been very thorough when we come to these awards. Now, the winners. We start with the youngest, the CA Aspiring Student of 2018. The award goes to Rida Wasim. Rida is a gold medalist and a recently qualified ICAP member. Rida, can we have you on stage? Mr. Farooq Rahman, can we have you on stage as well to present these awards, since it was under your leadership that this idea was conceived. Hina, along with you as well. CA Women of the Year Award. Well, we have two winners this time. One is based in Karachi, the other one is based in Islamabad. Ms. Suhag Mushtaq has been elected as is now the winner from Islamabad. Obviously, it will be presented to her when we have this event. From Karachi, you know what's interesting? It's only Shumaila and I who know the winners, so we can actually take the pleasure of looking at these faces who are thinking who's winning and who's not. Well, the winner, like I told you, does not know who it is. So, Ms. Muniza Bhatt, can we have you on stage? Okay, Munisa would like to say a few words.
Okay, now this is a big surprise because they didn't tell us who the winner is going to be, and I think Hina kept the suspense till the last moment. It's an emotional moment for me today because 24 years ago, I remember sitting in the same auditorium. I was from the third batch of the basic accountancy course, and we had an induction session over here. And I could not ever imagine that I'll be standing here today, after so many years receiving this award. So I'd like to thank the Almighty. And at the same time, I'd like to dedicate this award to all the young aspiring females who are trying to be chartered accountants. If I can stand here today, believe me, you can stand here tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you, Munisa. And now, the last award, the Lifetime Achievement Award. Well, with this particular lady, I share a special bond. 10 years ago, I was on this stage competing in a presentation skills competition. And this particular lady was the judge. Well, I got the second prize, so automatically she was in my good books, but I never realized that one day I will be working with her in the Chartered Accountants Women's Committee. So very well deserved. Please put your hands together for Roshan Mary.
Everybody is getting a bit late, but just thank you very much. I'm really, really honored by this award. Does a Lifetime Achievement Award mean that I don't work? Because I frankly feel as if it was yesterday when I was sitting in front of Mr. Fuad Hashmi giving my interview for an appointment as an article clerk. And when I joined, this institute was not there. So we used to sit on rickety chairs and tables to give our exams. But I really hope and pray, and I'm so happy to see so many young females here. And inshallah, you all will do us proud. Thank you.
Okay, we don't stop here. This is the last, perhaps the most impactful award that the Chartered Accountants Women Committee is giving this year. We are recognizing the efforts being placed by the females at the Institute. We have with us Ms. Farida Hamid, who has been serving the Institute for more than 25 years. Please, can we have Ms. Farida Hamid on stage to take a recognition award. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Farida Hamid. Thank you, Farooq Saab. Thank you, Ms. Hina. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to the day when I will not have to justify this particular one Women's Day. Like Sharvano said, let all the days be ours. Before we conclude, we need to thank our sponsors, Ascol, Mandi Express, and Alia B Spa. Our guests, these days taking out time is indeed a task. council members, members of the regional committee, and of course, the Chartered Accountants Women Committee itself. A big shout out to all of you. Thank you very much for making this event successful. Before we proceed for the high tea, which is on the second floor, can we please have the Chartered Accountants Women Committee members on stage to have a group photograph along with the council members and regional committee members.